Hello and welcome. Olga's here, and today on the blog, we'll talk about how to clear the feelings of failure with Faster EFT. This is such a juicy topic because the truth is, even the most successful people feel this all the time. Another good way to look at it is every time you experience a change or you're going through a transition, so often to let go of the old and to embrace the new, you start feeling this feeling of failure, like you've done something wrong, or you should have done things better. It's so great to clear it so you can move forward without looking back, without being afraid, and most importantly, without beating yourself up over the things. Because here's what I believe, guys. There's no failure, there's just a feedback. Even things that are most horrific and not fun and your biggest mistakes is something that happened because you have done the best you knew at that point, right? You might have heard me saying it many times, but you have no right going back and judging yourself for making a certain decision, so taking a certain step or deciding on something and saying you should have done that, or you could have done that, or you could have done better, and looking at it from the judgmental perspective. Now, with that said, I believe it's important to get a feedback, and it's important to look back and gain some insights and learn your lessons through the life's journey, but not to where you go back and judge yourself and criticize and you beat yourself up. And that's the very feelings of failure comes up. Now, the reason why I consider myself an expert on this topic is because I've experienced it a lot. Not too long ago, I remember sitting on the parking lot and just wailing in tears because I felt like a failure. There are changes that are happening in my life, and some of them I have, rather good grip on, and I'm navigating it just fine. But some of them feels like a failure. And here's the truth, guys. I can guarantee I can look back just a few short months ago and I can see why things that happened and how it was a growing opportunity for me and how it was a stepping stone in the direction where I want to go. But sometimes we are in the midst of it and we are not aware, we don't see the whole staircase. But here's the truth, you don't want to see the whole staircase because then you get overwhelmed, you're not going to walk this way. All what you need is see the next step. And sometimes when this happens, you just look back and you say, well, it's not working. It should have been that differently. I must have done something wrong. I just really, really messed up. And that's where I want to go with you today so we can release and address it together. Because what's going to happen next, the second you clear that, opportunity will show up, the ease will show up, the flow will show up. And as you move through life, this heavy, heavy feelings of failure, they will not stop you. Because again, what I truly believe and what I hope you'll walk out of this video, if there's one thing that you'll take out of this, I want you to take this. Life is like a laboratory, and every experience is like an experiment. So I want you to go and experiment without thinking, well, just because that experiment didn't go well, I'm a failure. And again, if you feel this way, you're not alone. I totally did this to myself. And this video is for me just as much as for you. And as I'm shifting more to this understanding that the experiences are learning opportunities, the opportunities to heal, to transform, to grow from them. There is nothing that you have done wrong. It was just an opportunity to learn and heal. So start thinking about something that you are struggling to see as a learning experience and you see more as a failure, because that's what we're going to tap on. Now, I also want to talk a little bit about Faster EFT and how useful it is in the process of clearing these feelings. Because in Faster EFT, what we do is we go to the core, we go to the root of the issue, and we work with these deeper feelings, we work with the subconscious mind to make these changes. And if you guys know anything about subconscious mind, you probably know 95% of the decisions that you make in life is driven by your subconscious mind, right? So only 5% is consciously what you choose and decide. The rest of it is those triggers from the past and those events and memories and programs and this blueprint that runs through you that very often makes these decisions. You watch the world through the certain glasses. You see things through previous experiences. Now, just imagine for a second, what would it do to the quality of your life if you would be able to clear it, right? If you were able to clear the feelings of failure and fears of failure on a deeper level, how much would your life change? So if you haven't learned how to tap Faster EFT style and change memories with Faster EFT, I want you to invite you to grab the video training that I created. It's just one video, and it talks about how to change memory. And memory is the affirmation. Memory is actually the strongest form of affirmation because it has pictures and sensations and colors and all of this, how your subconscious mind hold information. So by changing those memories, the way how you see it, the way how you perceive it, really changes a lot about your fears of failures and your feelings of failures. I'll make sure that there's a link right there for you to get it. Meanwhile, I want you to think about something that you could label as a failure and you know that it's holding you back. And even logically, you might feel like it's not a failure, but emotionally, you still get triggered and you still have this turbulence inside of you, right? So kinesthetically, or some other level, it still doesn't feel right. You don't feel congruent with this. And I have a thing or two I can tap on, so I'll be tapping right along with you. And what we'll do is more of a general round of tapping, and I talked about it a couple of times, but I want to say it again. Now, this is more from a classic EFT, and there's this EFT versus Faster EFT methodology that's going on. And here's the truth. I believe both works on some level because tapping does work with your meridian system, and Robert Smith talked about it, how it's not a belief system. They actually do exist and present in your body. And tapping on these points does lower your cortisol level and change the way you react to things. So tapping is a great trance breaker. So touching those points definitely change the way you feel. Now, what makes bigger impact is going to specific memories, flipping them, changing them, and that's why I want to send you to this training so you can do it for your specific memory. Now, for right now on, what I want to do is practice the skill. So the second you get triggered, you do this, and you feel and you release and you focus on the fingertips as you tap so you can trance break yourself. Now, if you're not familiar with trance breaking, what essentially that means is changing how you feel in the moment, right? So when you're in a certain way of change of feeling or being, or somebody triggers you, it's like, it's like really, really overcome you. And then as you start tapping and focusing on the fingertips, next thing you know, it's not so strong. It doesn't drive your decisions. So things that you say that you might regret later. So do use tapping in those moments and use it to flip the memory. For right now on, think about failure, something that you label as one, and go there. And what we'll do is we'll clear that feeling as much as we can so you can move forward. So you can see and look back and say, listen, I've really done the best I could with this. This is all that I knew at that time. And that's okay for me to learn from this and to move forward and to make mistakes, right? We are human beings. It's normal. The only people who don't make mistakes, who don't finish the sentence, you got it, who don't do anything, right? So embrace it. Very normal. So close your eyes, and as you think about something that you um, lost at or you feel like you failed at, just step into this experience. Not as pictures, not as sensations, anything and everything. And as you do, just tap between your eyes and repeat after me and just say, I release and let go of that feeling. The feeling of failure, the feeling that I've made mistake, I've done something wrong. I shouldn't I should have seen it coming. I should have noticed the signs earlier. How did I let it go that far? That feeling, self-beating, the feeling of worry, I release and let it go. It's safe for me to change it. It's safe for me to see it differently. Instead of seeing it as failure, you can see it as a learning experience. There are some gifts and lessons in that experience that I'm going to keep. Maybe a lesson of forgiveness. Maybe a lesson of emotional resilience. Maybe just so many different learning opportunities that made me a better person, a better professional, that helped me acquire skills that I wouldn't have otherwise. Whatever it is, and whatever is happening right now, I choose to accept it fully. I choose to surrender to these changes. I choose to release and let go any negativity around that event, knowing that I've done the best I could with what I know. And it's safe for me to move forward, to see it differently. It's okay to let it go. Go ahead and grab your wrist, pulse round. Very good. Breathe in, breathe out. Say peace. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, again, if you don't have that video, if you don't have the skills on how to change memory with Faster EFT, make sure to grab one. It's a free training. It's very easy. I believe everybody should have this skill. It's the one of emotional intelligence. It's the one on how to love yourself deeper, how to be kinder to yourself, how to not repeat the same patterns over and over and over again. So make sure to grab it. Pick a memory from the past and go through the process. There's a 3-step process I'm taking you through on how to change it. Keep on tapping. You're doing awesome. You are loved. Be kind to yourself, and I'll see you next time. Bye.